Welcome, Vault Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and this is episode 32 of my Fallout 4 No Loot Challenge run. The rules are fairly simple. Here on Xbox, I am not allowed to use the A button to take something out of the world and put it into my character's inventory. Same with anything out of containers. Notable exceptions are crops. As you can see, we are playing on survival mode, and my character needs something to eat. She also needs something to barter with in order to get the junk and the bullets that are really necessary to play the game. And unfortunately, last episode, we finally ended up having to break the rules. Now, that's too bad about Nordhagen Beach. We'll ignore it for now. Last episode, we had a good run going. In episode 1, we were forced to pick up the Pip-Boy to get out of the vault. And we didn't have any other incidents except for one time I allowed a companion to pick up a quest item in Pickman's Gallery. I was kind of surprised that it worked. I rolled with it, and I decided later that that was really kind of cheating by proxy, right? To have my companions loot when I wasn't willing to. Still, we made it an awfully long way, but finally we have come to the point where there was no other choice. We had 3 items that we had to pick up last episode. We had to pick up the San Francisco Sunlights in Kellogg's house. It is the only way to unlock the elevator to Fort Hagen's basement. I tried in an alternate universe to unlock the secret room in Kellogg's house and then run directly to Fort Hagen without looting the Sunlights, and the elevator was still blocked. So that is the trigger for opening the elevator in Fort Hagen, is picking up those cigars. The next 2 items that we were forced to loot are the cybernetic brain augmenter. That is going to be used in a later quest to access Kellogg's memories, and there's simply no other way to progress the story without it. That is not a section that can be skipped. I did try to avoid looting Kellogg's password, and that didn't work out. Kellogg's password unlocks this terminal, which is going to unlock an elevator to the rooftop, and then we're going to see a very dramatic entrance for the Brotherhood of Steel. I tried leaving the fort through the same entrance I came in and taking the augmenter and Nick Valentine over to the memory den, thinking, well, maybe the Brotherhood doesn't even have to show up in the Commonwealth. No such luck. Dr. Amari and what's-her-face refused to acknowledge anything was unusual or different. Off camera, also tried taking Nick to his office, thinking maybe he would talk to us there, we could advance a quest that way. No luck. So, yeah, we have now stand our loot counter at 4 and 1, and that's unfortunate, but nothing we can do about it. We are just going to have to live with it if we're going to continue to play the game. And I've said all along that in the event that there was no possible workaround, I would hold my nose, as it were, and do the looting that is necessary to continue the run. But at this point, I consider the run at least spiritually broken. We're going to continue, and we're going to still have a good time. We've got some interesting stuff that should happen today. For example, many episodes ago, I went and left Paladin Danse in the very basement of Arcjet systems, and that was because we could not pick up the deep range transmitter to get the Brotherhood of Steel notified that his team needed help. And I have to wonder how Paladin Danse is going to react to me the next time we see him. I'm kind of hoping for some unique dialogue. Meantime, we have this conversation to have with Nick.
Even I don't know where the Institute is. They built me.
Well,
You don't
do you know anything
Nick?
at all, Nick?
Look at me. I'm trash. They threw me in the junk.
Oh, that's kind of sad, Nick, that you call yourself trash.
Just another discarded prototype. Didn't exactly leave me the house keys. We're in the weeds here. Time to take a step back. Bring in some fresh eyes. Only person I know willing to snoop up the Institute's tail feathers is Piper, the reporter in Diamond City. I say we head her way. Talk this through.
Oh, I know Piper. She's actually at Starlight Drive and not Diamond City, but
How could Piper?
why her?
Trust me, that dame knows a lot more than she lets on. And she lets on a lot. If I know her, she's done her homework.
She also makes up a lot.
We
She
need
is
to
the
talk
worst
this through
reporter.
with someone.
Done her homework. She threatened the mayor's secretary with a scandalous article just because she didn't agree with the secretary, not because there was any evidence. Like, I don't know.
Diamond City it is.
The more I think about Piper, the less I like her.
I know the night just got darker, but it won't last forever.
Speaking of dark nights, I did sleep in order to not only get the well-rested perk, which reminds me, I'm going to put on my smarty pants and my smarty hat because I think we might be finishing this quest and starting a new one. Regardless, it is going to be nighttime when we go outside here, and that, of course, just makes the next little sequence here all the more dramatic. Let's see, is this the elevator that I want? I think this is the elevator that I want. Yeah, this is a long ride, so this is hiding a loading screen, and we're going to very shortly step outside here. Roof access. Alright, is this locked? No. Open the door, and you know, just in case, I don't think there's any turrets left, but just in case, let's go ahead and deactivate the turrets. We don't want to get shot while we're staring up, open mouth, in awe of what's about to happen here. And there it is, Bidness.
People of the Commonwealth, do not interfere. Our intentions are peaceful. We are the Brotherhood of Steel.
Well, I tell you what,
Deep into that dark
see,
long I stood there, wondering, fearing.
what do you want about Nick?
Hey.
I'm all ears.
Hey, Valentine.
What do you need?
Well, you were just quoting
Your
poetry
thoughts?
at me.
Flying that ship into the heart of the Commonwealth. Mark my words. The Brotherhood's here to start a war.
Maybe so.
That's all.
Sure.
Say what you will about them, though, they do know how to make an entrance. One of my favorite little set pieces in Fallout. And I don't just mean Fallout 4, I just mean in Fallout. We have a ways to go to get us back over to Valentine's Detective Agency, so I am going to leave you here and meet up with you again when we are ready to talk to Piper. I'm practically out of bullets. I'm running low on stim packs and food and water and such, so yeah, it's time to go home to Hangman's Alley and regroup a little bit and then go find Piper. We will talk again in a little bit when something interesting happens. It is a dark and stormy night. seems like a good time for a clandestine meeting with Piper about food. Nick and I stopped at Leanne's Alley on the way over here. We got stocked up on food and water and bullets, and we are ready to go with the next stage of our quest.
Well, Nikki Valentine walks into my office for
I did notice last episode, although I like the weather and the rain, the noise can be a little distracting when we're indoors in Diamond City. So I am actually going to clear the weather and hopefully get rid of that background
Hard luck
noise.
all seem to run together like acid rain down an old sewer.
You, including your client here in that analogy? So, you two are finally letting me in on this little case of yours. What's the story?
I already told you my son is missing.
I didn't make it in time. Kellogg was working with the Institute, and he gave them Sean. I've lost him all over again.
The Institute. Oh boy. I've been investigating these creeps for over a year now. The Commonwealth's boogeyman. Feared and hated by everyone.
True enough.
Sometimes they snatch people in the middle of the night, and sometimes they leave old synths behind to remind us that they're out there, but to this day, there's one thing nobody really knows.
Where the Institute actually is. Or how to get in.
Exactly. But there's one person who has to know, right? The guy who just handed them Sean.
Kellogg. Huh.
Too bad he's dead.
Whatever you're thinking, it doesn't matter. He's dead.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't gonna go quietly the moment I saw him.
So, a murderer and a kidnapper gets his brains blown out by an avenging parent. Huh. Be a great ending if we didn't still have the biggest mystery in the Commonwealth to solve.
He didn't
wasn't
leave me any
gonna talk.
choice.
Even if I had a way of bringing him alive.
Gets his brains blown out. Huh. His brains. You know, we may not need the man at all.
You're talking crazy here, Nick. Got a fault in the old subroutines?
Look, there's a place in Good Neighbor called the Memory Den. Relive the past moments in your mind as clear as the day they happened. If anyone
I'm
could get a
familiar
dead
with it.
brain to sing, it'll be Dr. Amari, the mind behind the memories.
His head did kind of explode.
There's no way that could ever work.
Stay with me on this. We get a piece of Kellogg's gray matter and take it to Amari. Then we see if she's got the goods to pull this off.
Jesus,
So
Nick.
a random
gross.
part of his
Seriously?
brain?
I know it's grisly, but what choice do we have? We got no leads, nothing. That old Merc's brain just might have all the secrets we need to know.
So funny enough, Mary, who is so squeamish that she won't butcher animals, just happened to dig around in Kellogg's brain pan, and we already
Actually,
have some of his
I think I already
brain.
have something. Kellogg had this thing attached to his head.
Cybernetics, huh? We may have just won the lottery.
Whether we're riding this crazy brain train or not, we can't all go running across the Commonwealth, so... who's coming with you?
I have to go to the memory den either way, if I'm going to introduce you to Amari. But if you want to head there together, just say so.
Anything else you can tell me about the memory den?
It's in Good Neighbor, a little slice of trouble northeast a ways. The memory den ain't just a fancy name, it's literal. A lot of people give up all their caps just to relive the good parts of their lives. Over and over. But not us. We're gonna try to dive deep into someone else's mind. I can meet you
Yeah.
there, or we can head out
Mary
together.
tried the memory den. Turns out it was reliving one of the worst parts of her life. We're gonna take Nick
It's you
with
and me,
us.
Nick.
Let's get going. Don't worry. We're gonna get your boy back. Just a few more steps.
While you two are out, I'm gonna do some more research. I'll be here if you need me.
No, Piper, you are supposed to be over at Starlight Drive-In. Alright, well, you can hang out here if you want, I guess. Nick and I are off to Good Neighbor.
Even good people do crazy things when they're scared. Diamond City's motto.
And actually, that
Hey.
reminds me,
What's
Nick
the plan?
did pull me aside and asked to
Hey,
speak with me.
Valentine.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Sure, ask away.
away.
It's just, with everything that's happened with you and your family, it's a whole hell of a lot to process. I wanted to make sure you're holding up all right.
It hasn't been great.
I don't know, Nick. My family's in tatters. I've been dropped into this place where everything's trying to kill me. You tell me.
Well, I'd expect you to feel lost, scared, and mad as hell. I sure did. Took me a long damn time to get a feel for this place. Thank goodness I found Diamond City. It's got its flaws, sure, but it beats the hell out of anywhere else in the Commonwealth. Of course, when I took up there back when, people were just as scared of the Institute as they are now. Maybe more. The massacre of the CPG was still pretty fresh in people's minds at that point, and folks were still losing sleep over the broken mask. Plenty of people assumed I was just a saboteur, moving in to melt down the reactor or poison the drinking water. But at the time, they couldn't exactly turn me away.
Broken mask?
What was the broken
This was
mask?
long before I'd moved to town, but apparently some gentleman type shows up in Diamond City, heads down to Power Noodles. Guess he didn't like the food because he pulled his pistol and opened fire on the folks enjoying theirs. When security finally put enough holes in him to drop him, they say he was full of servos and sprockets, just like yours truly. Seems he malfunctioned, went berserk.
All right,
It was
well,
the
we
first
read
time
about that
people
in
realized that
papers
synths had
account
stopped
in
looking
the
like me
newspaper.
and started looking like them.
Way back when.
Considering what these folks went through, I felt real lucky they let me in the front gate at all.
What was
Massacre of the CPG.
massacre
What's
about?
that?
The Commonwealth Provisional Government. Years back, a group of settlements tried to get together and form a coalition. Every settlement with even a hint of clout sent representatives to try and hash out an agreement. Only the Institute sent a representative of their own, a synth. The man killed every rep at the talks. The Commonwealth Provisional Government was over before it even got off the ground. I took up in town not long after. I was damn lucky they didn't just tell me to scram right then and there.
You know, the funny thing about that is, why would the Institute try and stop reorganization? They want to redefine mankind, but wouldn't that be easier if the surface was not in chaos? Like they're all about
Don't let me bother you.
Why would you want to live among
don't know.
bigots like that?
Nah, I couldn't really blame them, given the circumstances. But folks sure started turning the other cheek when I showed up with the mayor's daughter. Gal of about 15. Pride and joy of the mayor back then. Man by the name of Henry Roberts.
Showed up with her?
The young Miss
Nick?
Roberts decided she'd run off with some caravan hand she'd, known for an evening. Turns out the guy was part of a gang of kidnappers. I didn't even know who I was rescuing, just stumbled on a crying girl and 4 toughs. I took her home and the mayor
Alright, well,
dubbed
that's
me
much
a hero,
better than what
offered
it
me a
initially
place in
sounded
town.
like.
Lots of folks protested, said I was a spy, but he wouldn't have it. Taking up in the city was tricky at first, but I never tried to hide what I was, and people seemed to warm to that.
Nick, I gotta tell you, like, trying to hide would have been, well, a little impossible. Like, have you looked in a mirror?
You took down 4 guys by yourself?
Well, I didn't have to. Back then, synths were even more of an unknown quantity than they are today. I told them I was rigged to explode and started going beep, beep, beep. Hardest part of that rescue was keeping from laughing as they climbed over each other to get away.
So you're
You're
really
not
not
a spy,
then.
right? Testing, testing. Hello, Institute, can you hear me? Hello.
Hell if I know. If I am, the Institute's plan to gather intel on all the runaways of the Commonwealth has been going off without a hitch.
Was it
Was
hard
settling around
in?
here?
Yeah, they sure didn't make it easy. I started off doing the jobs no one else wanted. I got more banged up being Diamond City's handyman than I ever did living out in the ruins. But I guess folks never forgot I rescued the mayor's daughter, so they started coming to me when people went missing. Wife runs off with a new paramour and takes the rent money with her. Talk to the synth. An upset father decides moving him and the kids to Good Neighbor in the dead of night's not the worst damn idea since the bomb. Go get Nick. After a while, the jobs got so backed up, they didn't even ask me to do the handyman stuff anymore. Hell, I was so happy to do it, it was months before I started charging anyone. I never stopped being Nick the synth, but it was Nick the detective folks came to see. It was about then that things finally started feeling normal. It took me a long time to realize that home is where you make it. And with some time and effort, this place can be home for you, too. That's a long story, but I hope it helps. Want to get moving?
Man, I really do love the companion story with Nick Valentine. It's got to be one of my favorites. It's just too bad that his companion perk is such an incredible dud. At any rate, I am going to take a run over to Good Neighbor and get into the memory den. Let's get going, and I'll see you there. We stepped into the memory den, and dialogue started immediately before we even had a chance to hit record. Let's listen in.
Never walk out on you.
Amari's downstairs, you big flirt.
Did stop and buy a few more bullets with Cleo, and she had a Gauss rifle available. And it's very tempting, but boy is it heavy. Like, I think we would have to at least get rid of one other weapon. It's not a case of and to my inventory. It would have to be in place of something else. And since it's a long-range weapon, it would probably be in place of Overseer's Guardian. Ammo for it is crazy expensive, though.
Right? What's this all about?
Doctor, it's time for you to reverse death itself.
What?
I wouldn't have put it quite
Seems
that
like a
way.
little
It's true. We
over
need to
dramatic
get
for
man's
Mary.
memories. Guy named Kellogg.
Are you two mad? Putting aside the fact that you're asking me to defile a corpse, you don't realize that the memory simulators require intact, living brains to function.
Defile a corpse? I mean, Mary already defiled it for you.
Please. Nick told me you're the only one who could make this work.
This dead brain had inside knowledge of the Institute, Amari. The biggest scientific secret of the Commonwealth. You need this, and so do we.
Fine. I'll take a look. But no guarantees. Do you have it with you?
The brain?
How much of the brain do you need? Exactly.
That is not an encouraging question. I suppose I'll have to make do with whatever you can find.
Well, here's the bit that
what I
I
could
saved.
What's this? This isn't a brain. This is... Wait. That's the hippocampus. And this
Good thing it
thing
didn't
attached to
rot.
it? A neural interface?
Did I keep it on ice?
Those circuits look awfully familiar.
I'm not surprised. From what I've seen, all Institute technology has a similar architecture.
Is the
So the
brain
brain is still
good?
Possibly. There's no sign of decay, so the tech is probably preserving the tissue, injecting some kind of compound to keep it stable. But there's no way to access the memories inside without a compatible port.
You're talking about me, right? I'm an old synth. If the Institute built me out of similar parts, we might have an in.
There could be long-term side effects. I don't know where to even begin with listing the risks.
Don't bother. I don't need to hear them. Plug me in, Doc.
Thank you, Nick.
I appreciate this, Nick.
You can thank me when we've found your son. All right, let's do this.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Valentine, just sit down.
If I start cackling like an old
Every time I
grizzled
play this
mercenary,
game,
pull me out,
I
okay?
become more and more convinced that
Let's see here.
Nick is the big damn hero of the game.
I need you to keep talking to me, Mr. Valentine. Any slight change in your cognitive functions could be dire. Are you feeling any different?
There's a lot of flashes. Static. I can't make sense of any of it, Doc.
That's what I was afraid of. The mnemonic impressions are encoded. It appears the Institute has one last failsafe. There's a lock on the memories in the implant.
This is all technobabble of the worst sort. You know, the only place it gets worse is in Star Trek. Still, is Nick
Nick
okay?
gonna be okay?
Yes, the connections appear to be stable. Hopefully it'll be as simple as unplugging the implant once we're done. But that doesn't get around the current problem. The memory encryption is too strong for a single mind. But what if we use two? We load both you and Mr. Valentine into the memory loungers. Run your cognitive functions in parallel. He'll act as a host, while your consciousness drives through whatever memories we can find.
Nick
Well,
and
that
I
sounds
are gonna
weird.
share a mind. I'm not gonna see him in any compromising positions, am I?
If a smart mouth was all it took to solve problems, we would have found your son by now.
No. You won't have to worry about that. The only memories you'll access are the ones in the implant.
So
Any-
what's
I
going to
have
happen
no
then?
clue. But considering we only have a single piece of the medial temporal lobe and not the whole brain, I doubt it'll be cohesive.
All right, let's
Well,
get
what could
started.
possibly
Just
go
sit down
wrong?
over
Let's
there.
do it.
And keep your fingers crossed.
See you on the other side.
Alright, Kellogg's memory is something that has been covered in great detail by a great many YouTubers, and I don't think that I can add anything either insightful or funny.
Initiating brainwave
So,
migration between the
I
two
think that we're going to
phantom
skip ahead a little
Mnemonic
bit, and we
activity
have
coming.
finished going through Kellogg's memories. Heard about a rogue Institute scientist named Virgil. One thing that I found interesting in the memories was that they showed Mary's original look,
Take your time.
even down to her hairstyle and the bruises on her face. So I thought that was an interesting touch. In any case, were there any side effects?
Am I okay? Are you seeing anything bad?
Don't be alarmed, but I honestly don't know what to look for. As I said before, this is uncharted territory, but your neural and physiological readings have returned to normal. From a medical standpoint, you're fine. Are you ready to talk about what happened in there?
Yes, I am. But
You
are
were
you?
along for the ride, weren't you? You saw what I saw.
Yes, but it's important we review everything together, in case either of us missed anything.
Well, we saw
I saw
Kellogg's life.
The man who ruined my family. The man I killed.
That's right. He was a human being just like the rest of us, and he had reasons for being what he was, however cruel. How does that make you feel?
Honestly, I don't know how that would make Mary feel.
I'm not sure, Doctor.
I don't know if there's any right way to feel, either. We're getting off track. The important thing is that we discovered the Institute's greatest secret, teleportation. The only question is, what do we do now?
Well, we know about
That
Virgil.
scientist Kellogg was supposed to track down. Virgil. We need to find him.
You're right. A rogue Institute scientist could answer all kinds of questions. Where did the memory say he was? The glowing sea? That doesn't make sense. No one goes there. Not even if they were desperate.
Why not? Mary doesn't know anything
What
about the
makes
glowing
the glowing
sea.
sea so dangerous?
The name says it all. Radiation. So much that nothing there could possibly live. Nothing pleasant. Navigating radioactive hazards is nothing new. But the glowing sea can kill a man in seconds. That's why it doesn't make sense. Virgil fleeing into that hell. The exposure alone.
That makes it the perfect
That's why he's
hiding spot then.
To make the Institute think twice about following him.
That must be it. He's using the radiation in the glowing sea like a shield, or a cloak, a way to throw them off and be at an advantage. If Virgil found a way to survive there, you'll have to do the same. If you're going to follow him.
Well, turning myself into a super mutant is probably not in the cards, but I will find a
to get
way.
through the rats.
I happen to have a hazmat suit that I bought probably 20 episodes ago
By the way,
against just this very thing,
unbeknownst to
although
Valentine first,
we may end up
he
with a
moved
suit of
the
power
inventor
armor.
while you were waking up. He's waiting for you upstairs.
Thank you, Dr. Amari. So, oh, and we are now going to be able
Dr.
to
Amari?
bring
Careful of the
Curie
radiation.
to Dr.
The
Amari
glowing sea
and get
isn't a
her
place to be caught unprepared.
companion perk moving. So we will try to prioritize that so that we can travel with Curie as much as possible and get our perk unlocked.
Nick,
Hope you got what you were looking
Because
for.
it's unlikely we will ever get Nick's perk unlocked.
That was right. I should have killed you when you were on ice.
What?
What are you talking about?
Are you feeling okay? You sounded
you
like Kellogg.
sounded like Kellogg just then.
Did I? Huh. Mari said there might be some mnemonic impressions left over. Anyway, I feel fine, so let's get going.
We have
Any
to
idea
head
how we're
into
going to
the
get across the
glowing
glowing sea?
Any advice?
I'm a synth, so radiation isn't much of an issue for me, but an old suit of power armor might just be the guardian angel you're looking for. That, or you could buy up all the Rad-X and Rad-Away you can find from any chem dealer who's got it in stock.
Well,
Let's get
come with
going,
me
Nick.
then, Nick.
One heck of a ride so far. Let's see where it takes us next.
So, Nick mentioned power armor, and what do you know? I happen to know a group that might actually be able to sell me some. So we're gonna go get Curie, and we're gonna go see about trying to visit the Brotherhood of Steel. I decided to make a pit stop here at my robot workshop here in Starlight because I wanted to do a few things. First, I've got something expensive coming up that I want to buy, probably some power armor from the Brotherhood. That means that I wanted to go ahead and pick crops and make drugs and strong. That looks very uncomfortable. Pick crops, make drugs, make adhesive, get all the stuff together to sell. I also recognize that Curie is about to get a squishy human body, and that means that she is going to want some armor for it.
Hey,
So
Something from
I currently have stripped the full set of heavy combat armor that I had on Preston Garvey, and Curie is holding that for me at the moment. But she is over encumbered, which means that I have to hold one of the mini nukes for Big Boy. Hopefully that'll get better once she gets some legs. I also realized that I put a lot of very resource intensive mods onto Curie, especially the sniper laser arms. And so I have stripped Curie down completely. She doesn't even have an eye.
Never changes.
Must be kind of a horror show. Sensory deprivation of no eyes, no arms, nothing, just a floating head for her. But that will change soon. In the meantime, Codsworth is now a literal well-armed machine in that he has 5 arms. So he's all fixed up. Curie is ready to go. And one more thing that I want to do while I am in the neighborhood. I noticed that I have not failed the quest Call to Arms, even though the Brotherhood of Steel has arrived. That seems strange to me. I would have figured that that would have been an auto-fail. So, I'm going to go say hi to Paladin Danse in the basement of Arcjet, which is actually not far away at all. Here we are at the bottom of the elevator for Arcjet. Danse?
Paladin.
Keep the noise down. This place is crawling with hostiles.
No, it's not. You've been here for like 9 months, and you have had plenty of time to... In fact, I'm surprised you haven't starved to death. Oh, doggone it.
Enough chatter.
Well, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Why would the developers plan for
Heads up.
this somewhat moronic set of circumstances that I have set up here?
See if he had anything worth taking.
Of having not completed this quest by simply not picking up the final item. So, Curie, we're going to give you one final chance. We've
Grab anything
tried
useful.
with a couple other companions just when we've checked in with Danse to see if he was still here. And still not picking up the deep range transmitter. So things could get interesting when we go down to the airport and introduce ourselves, because Danse is still here instead of calling in a vertibird to the police station to escort us to the airport and introduce us to the Brotherhood. We may actually be locked out of the Brotherhood as a faction. We're locked out of the Railroad, we're locked out of the Minutemen, and we might be about to be locked out of the Brotherhood. This could end up as an Institute run. I don't know. I think that there's probably a fetch quest, at least in the end game for the Institute, as far as getting reactor parts. So we might be locked out of that too. And at that point, I guess I get to choose which faction I'm going to go with. In the meantime, let's go get Curie a brand new body. Wait. Danse came up with us. Danse? No, never mind. Danse decided to go back down the elevator. Alright, let's go get Curie a new body. Here we are outside the memory den for what I surely hope is the last time. The route between Diamond City and Hangman's Alley and Good Neighbor is well worn and well known, and I am kind of tired of it. Before we go in here, though, we are going to loot Curie. Not loot Curie. We're going to take back all the stuff that we let Curie hold for us. She is handing that to us. We're not taking it. Anyways, yeah, we
want to make sure that we get stuff off of her, because when her new body spawns, her stuff is not going to spawn on that new body. Hello, Irma, don't mind me. I'm just massively overencumbered. I'm just creeping past where you're at and headed down to the basement ever so very slowly. Dr. Amari, let's get this over with so that I can put my companion back up again. I hate moving this slow.
Doctor, my
Also,
friend here
I'm taking
needs your help.
damage.
Oh? I'm not a mechanic. What could she possibly want from me?
Greetings, Doctor. I wish to download my data and co-programming into a human brain.
You want what? Is she serious?
Has a heart attack. Can you do it?
Can you do it or not?
I won't even consider something like this unless there's a good reason.
I was programmed to further our studies of disease, pathogens, and viruses. I cannot do this with the fundamental limitations of my robotic systems. If I become human, with the wealth of information in my databanks, I hope to do much good for the Commonwealth.
A pre-war robot with your knowledge and skills plus human cognition. Yes, you could potentially save many lives. It's an interesting problem. The memories wouldn't be hard. We translate those from the brain to computers and back all the time here. It's how the loungers work. Her personality, though, all the extra pieces of robotic programmed decision-making, a normal organic brain wouldn't know what to do with them. A synth brain, on the other hand, well, it's already somewhere between the two.
So, wait a minute. We transfer memories back and forth all the time. But computer memories are ones and zeros. And they're on magnetic media and they're highly regimented. People memories are not, they think, boiled down so easily and are a lot wetter as far as being in meat space instead of on a chip. But it kind of doesn't matter. We're missing a brain anyways.
To help with that. I've worked on synths before, giving them memory wipes so they can live a life free of the Institute. But the procedure isn't always successful. If something goes wrong, it can leave them in a brain-dead state. Living, but with no cognition. I know a caretaker for one of these brain-dead synths. If they're willing, we could try transferring your friend's consciousness into her.
I don't know how I feel about
The whole
sense.
idea makes me uneasy.
Her caretaker may feel the same way. But we won't know until we ask her. Give me a day to get in contact with them. They're understandably cautious, but I think they'll hear me out.
I will stay with the doctor. Assuming all goes well, I want to be ready for the procedure.
Alright, Kiri. Well, I'm gonna go rent a room next door for 24 hours, and I'll be back. Well, are you this
So
thing's
you're the one that wants to put a robot brain in
caretaker?
G519? She's one of my people. A friend. I promised to protect them.
Glory, she wanted new memories. She knew her personality would be all but erased. These are just different memories. Perhaps better ones.
I don't know. Maybe I should just let her go.
What
do you
would
think
G5
G5
have
would
wanted?
G5 was scared. Like most synths, she was terrified the Institute would find her and send her back. I tried to convince her that she could live free, as herself. But she didn't listen.
Well, this is a chance for G5 to give the gift
Her
of life.
sacrifice
She is going
will
to
give
make
someone else
Kiri into a
the
real
gift of
person.
life.
I think she'd like that. Fine.
At least she'll look like a real person.
Do it now, before I change my mind.
Curie, let's begin.
I should see this through.
Terminate all non-essential operations.
Affirmative.
All right. Connection complete. I have access to your friend's memories. G5's already been prepped, so this shouldn't take long. Yes. There.
My chest. What is happening?
Just breathe. It's an autonomic function. Just let your body do what it must.
I feel so strange.
Listen to me. Can you hear me? What is your name?
My designation is Contagions, Vulnerability, Robotic, Infirmary Engineer. Orcurie.
What an overblown, not anagram, doggone it. Acronym. There we go. So is that really you in there, Curie?
Yes. You sound so different with these ears.
Good. Very good. Now let's test some cognitive functions. What is 1 + 2?
3.
If I threw a baseball at your head, what would you do?
Move.
Think of a strong memory. The first that comes to mind. Tell me about him.
Dr. Burrow was very old. He was the last living scientist in my section of Vault 81. He was on his bed, very weak. He said to me, "Curie, you must..." And he died before he finished the sentence. Oh, my insides feel peculiar. What is that?
Could be grief.
You might be feeling grief for a friend.
This unit has no friends, but there, my chest is tightening when I think of poor Dr. Burrow.
The operation appears successful. But I think it will take a lot of adjustment for your new friend. She may need your help to make the transition.
Thank you, Doctor, for this opportunity. I wonder what has happened. Is what has befallen the Commonwealth thing typical?
The whole thing just kind of seems like, to me, like it kind of answers some questions for us about whether robots in Fallout are truly sentient. As far as physical responses, no. Curie is expressing surprise at the physical responses, and yet none of the memories or emotions are new.
You need something, yeah?
Anyway, let's get your armor onto you, Curie, because I am literally dying because I'm carrying too much stuff for you. So you've got a backpack and some fatigues, because I don't know if your default outfit is Under Armour or not, but we will let you hang on to it. And we've got some sunglasses for you, as well as a metal helmet and a full set of combat armor. So you can put all of this on. And oops, that jumpsuit is mine. Alright. Now let's back out of here and let all that stuff take effect.
Hey.
And then, Curie, what about... And now that I think about it, the white polymer combat armor kind of looks right for a woman who used to be a white robot, doesn't it? What else do we have for her? We also had the big boy and 3 mini nukes. I sure hope she can hold all this, because her carry capacity might be less as a person than as a machine. Still, looks like she was able to handle it all. Glory.
But she was good. Solid. I hope a little of that's still there. And if it isn't, make sure all of this was worth it.
We'll try. If nothing else, Curie has said that she may have a chance of curing disease for a lot of people.
She'll help a lot of people down the line.
Yeah. Here's hoping. Listen, I know we don't exactly know each other, but talk to Deacon. I think you'd make a decent addition to the railroad.
Well, that's as may be, but we can't complete the initial quest to tradecraft because it requires picking stuff up, so... Even if we wanted to, we can't join the railroad. And there's no doctors nearby that can cure my legs, so I'm going to go ahead and take a step
Dr.
back.
Amari?
Dr. Amari,
Full of the
is
radiation.
there anything else that
The
we want
glowing
to talk
sea
about?
Isn't a place to be caught unprepared.
Fair enough, we've talked about
Heads
that
up.
before.
What do
Curie,
you want?
how are you feeling?
Remember, to breathe. I keep thinking if I forget to do this, no more Curie. And suddenly, all this excitement we do, there is an element of something new. What if my arm is blown off? It is not so simple to repair this now.
So, does that mean that you're afraid?
Are you afraid?
I suppose it could be fear, but something else
Ooh,
as
those
well.
glasses look
It is
terrible
a
on
jumble.
your face, Carrie.
I will be fine.
The way they clip
It
into
is
your
coming to
cheeks.
me.
Ooh.
Quickly, I hope. Just bear with me. I am sure my research will blossom with this magnificent new hardware.
Heads up.
First things first, we gotta get those glasses off. Like, we don't need to carry them. We'll let you carry them as part of our companion equipment. But, yeah, they gotta go. Considering that you're an NPC, the additional point of perception probably doesn't matter anyways. Well, emergent behavior is complete, and we are now just gonna have to do some adventuring with Curie to try and get our next companion perk. For now, the glowing sea beckons, but although I have a hazmat suit, I would rather have power armor. And that means we're going to have to go talk to the Brotherhood. I don't know how accepting they are going to be, considering that I have, well, left one of their number in a pre-war facility, and the rest of their small scout group, one of them's wounded, and the other is just a scribe in a gas station, or not gas station, police station. So, no time like the present to find out, though. I'm gonna drop a save here, and then we're gonna move on over to
This is a hotel,
the
not a
airport and see what
charity,
happens.
and we insist.
Well, we've kind of got a bad news, good news situation here. Good news first. We have gotten another level, and that means that we can take another rank of better criticals. Once we have this maxed out, we're just going to keep on going down the luck tree, get at least, probably won't max out critical banker, but at least get a couple ranks of that, and then move on to Grim Reaper Sprint. So, yeah, that's the good news, that we continue to level up. Here's the bad news. There's nothing we can do with the settlement here at the airport, at least not yet. And even worse, we are, I think, locked out of the Brotherhood of Steel as a potential
This area is
quest
off
line,
limits.
because there are no named NPCs around here. There's a number of unnamed NPCs wandering around, but none of the named ones have showed up yet. Not the supply folks, not the...
This area is off limits.
Well, just not anybody. And even worse, there is no vertibird here on the landing pad to take us up to Prison. I think the only way that we're going to be able to advance this quest is going to be completing Call to Arms. And what an incredible disappointment that is, right? Like, I had really hoped that the game would sense that the Brotherhood had arrived and do something with Paladin Danse, but nope. He continues to stand there like a dope in the bottom of Arcjet systems. And the end result here is that our path forward continues to get narrowed down. And the only thing that I can see that we could do to advance things is go try and find Virgil in the glowing sea. And because we don't have power armor, that means we're going to have to do it with a hazmat suit. When we do it with a hazmat suit, we're carrying too much stuff. So I am going to have to make my way back to Hangman's Alley and try and narrow down some inventory here. And that is painful because with this rule set, when I set it down, I can't pick it back up again. I may actually, here's the thought. I know what I'm going to do. I'll show you in a second. we're back at Hangman's Alley because we need to do some inventory management. Try and get it to where we can walk around with a hazmat suit without breaking our legs. I know, inventory management. Not the most exciting thing, but it must be done. So part of why we are running so heavy is because I realized, to my detriment, that we can't have Curie hold the big boy and mini nukes. If we allow that to happen, she will gleefully get that thing out and blow us and her and everything else all to hell. So, yeah, we need to carry the mini nukes, and 3 of them equates to 36 pounds. That is a lot for something that I am running around with just in case. Now, I could offload some other equipment onto Curie, but frankly, it has been such a pain in the rear just to hang on to Big Boy that I do not really want to do that. As far as having Curie hold my other stuff, it's just too much of a hit to my cardio bar. So, with one of the mini nukes, I have added that to this little display case here, along with our Captain Cosmos power armor figure that we got way back. And with another, I am going to sell it because they were hard to find, and that's why I was buying one every opportunity.
Look like someone.
I bought too many.
Trading.
Realistically, how likely am I
Smiling
to
Larry
need
hasn't got
2 mini nukes
Probably don't need
with the big boy, with the multiple independent re-entry vehicle or MIRV launcher? So we're going to sell one of those mini nukes. That takes care of 12 weight all by itself. And I was looking over my weapons, and I really don't want to mess with any of these. I do still use the pistol quite a bit when I'm running against rad roaches, ghouls, other small enemies, and the ammo for that is cheaper than it is for Overseer's Guardians. So I want to hang on to that. The Rockville Slugger, every once in a while I do manage to sneak up behind an enemy, and with Ninja and VATS is a devastating strike. So we're keeping those. The armor, absolutely. Of course I have to keep that. The hazmat suit, I have to keep that. The lab coat and the Ushanka hat. Those are taking up a couple of pounds and not providing very much benefit. Rarely do I remember to even put them on. The red bandana is only 1/10 of a pound, and yet I am inconsistent about when I put it on. I had some rules in my head about when I would put it on and when I wouldn't, and frankly, I never remember. It's just kind of at random, so we can get rid of that bandana. I want to keep the sunglasses for the perception. The vault suit is too good to leave behind, but when we look at our food and water and medicine, I am running a little heavy on water, I think, because I have a lot of other things besides water that I can drink that I just don't. Like I've been carrying around a couple of Nuka Colas in case I get tired, like forever, right? And Deezer's Lemonade is a nice healing item. Meanwhile, this beer that I got from the Brut Drinking Buddy, I keep it in case I need an extra charisma point for, I don't know, reasons, right? So we can get rid of some water and we can drink these other things in an emergency if we run out of water. And as far as food goes, I am going to go ahead and go down to 3 each on my produce, because I have these different steaks and other pieces of meat that I have not needed and not eaten yet, so why am I carrying those around, right? So we'll go down a little bit on the produce, and if I run out of that, well, I've got plenty of meat to eat. So that is going to help some as well. We can also get rid of the robot repair kits. At this point, I don't imagine that I'm going to travel with robotic companions anymore. If I do, those repair kits are not that hard to make. The stim packs, I'm only carrying 8. And that's, I think, low. I think a lot of people would think that is a low number to carry. But realistically, on survival mode, since stim packs heal so slowly, and Mary is almost surely dead when she gets spotted and swarmed, yeah, there's really no point in carrying a lot of stim packs. We just aren't survivable enough to use them all. The only thing that I'm carrying in miscellaneous that even has weight to it is the ID card, and who knows, I may still end up down in that part of the world and might take a look in the factory. Ammo is a problem that more or less solves itself when it comes to carry weight, and I may be wishing that I had more weight in the ammo, but that is what we're doing to try and fix our inventory problem. Let's see. Oh, one other thing. I had said that I didn't need the extra bags mod for the sleeping bag anymore, or sorry, the sleeping bag, backpack. But I think that is not the case. We're going to add the additional carry weight. I do hate giving up the survival mod of the extra damage resistance, rad resistance, but right now carry weight is king, and the only other way to instantly gain 10 pounds of carry weight is going to be to take a point of strength. So if we go and put on our hazmat suit, where does that leave us? That leaves us with, actually, not too shabby. We got an extra 33 pounds of carry weight. So, although we won't be picking anything up in the field, if we should happen to come across a vendor where we could buy something, we are going to have some available space. Now, speaking of vendors and buying something, I have had a brainwave while I was doing a little bit of editing, and I think I might know another place besides the Brotherhood to get some power on. You know, the frame is no problem. Arturo in Diamond City, Cleo in Good Neighbor, and maybe others will sell frames. Frames are no problem, but I still need some armor to hang on that frame, and that means I have to buy that somewhere. And I might know some folks who like power armor a lot that might sell me some. Who might that be, you ask? Well, let's see. It's a foggy day, but out of the fog, who should appear but the Addon Cats? Now, I know that the woman here will sell paint jobs and such. I am curious if she might sell actual power armor parts. Because if she does, even if she doesn't sell a frame, I know where to buy a frame.
You're not with it. Cop yourself some power armor, Jack.
That is totally why I'm here, Duke.
I've got this idea. Hear me out. A suit of power armor with a jetpack on the back. Well, it's a far out idea, but...
No, actually, it works awesome. I love it in Fallout 76.
Rowdy,
Rowdy,
you want to
the one
spiff
who
up
gives
your
me the
power
quest?
armor? You've come to the right place. The Atom Cats have the most far-out mods this side of the apocalypse.
The mods, yes, but what about the actual armor pieces?
What is this place?
The Atom Cats garage, dummy. It's a haven for cats too cool to live anywhere else in the Commonwealth. We got a thing for custom power armor jobs, because what's cooler than power armor? Nothing, that's what.
You have a point.
Let's take a look.
Okay, and what do you know? We are going to be able to buy a full set of T60 power armor. That is awesome. It's not XO1, but it's pretty good. And it's actually not even all that expensive. A lot cheaper than I was really expecting. So that's just great. And let's see, T60 left leg versus T60 left leg, 310 versus. If I want to forego the Atom Cat's paint job, I can buy it for even less. Wonderful. And she also has a power armor frame available along with a Atom Cat's paint job, which, wow, that is an expensive little piece of paint job. I probably am not going to be picking that up. Meanwhile, clearly you were the one to give us the quest over at Warwick Homestead. You're holding the Warwick pump part. So it feels weird to just come in and like buy this stuff without having even like so much as said hello. So I'm gonna go run around and see if maybe somebody wants to give me a quest over to Warwick Homestead.
Nosebleed. Just where do you think
One
you
thing
are?
I would
This
like
is Atom Cat territory.
to try and find a bed. Well, I don't want any trouble. In fact, I think you guys are kind of cool.
Nerd from Nowheresville? We got a reputation to uphold. Oh, I know what this is. You want to join up with the cats, don't you? I guess you don't look like a
Kinda.
total wet rag.
Sure.
Yeah, now we're cooking. Now, let's put your skills to the test. My girl Rowdy should have something for you to get your bread hooks on. She also trades in power armor mods and frames. Get yourself hooked up while you're there, Jack.
Rowdy, saw you over there gabbing with Zeke. What's the story?
Something about bread hooks?
Bread hooks, you know? Hands? What a square. From the looks of it, I'd say Boss Man thinks you have a little Atom Cat in you. Wants old Rowdy to see if you have what it takes to shack up with us.
In game, I'm trying to think of a reason why Mary would be so enthusiastic to join up with these folks, and I think mainly just she thinks
I
they're
have
cool.
what it takes.
We'll see. I've been putting off hauling myself over the ponds of work for this, but now you get to do it. And this here's something I've been fixing up, part of the pump system at work. Thing was clogged up like Zeke after one too many cans of cram. I want you to go to the pump shed there and install it. Work's an old water plant turned farm just east of here. Bunch of squares who spend all day digging in the dirt. Oh, and make sure to let June Warwick know when you're done. She's the bird in charge around there.
Very good. We're on it. Well, I am sorry to say that the thunderstorm that we were in while we were talking to Rowdy persisted all the way through the initial encounter over at Warwick Homestead. Nothing terribly exciting. We repaired a pump, and the father of the family over at Warwick was oddly friendly to us. I enjoy the True Storms mod. I think that it's a lot of fun in that I get a sneak bonus when it is raining that hard, but also my VATS detection range is a little bit less. It adds a fun element to the game, but it's not the greatest when we're making a video. So I did finally realize that the rain was probably going to be way too loud, and used a cheat holotape to clear the weather so that we could hear the audio. But that was a little bit later on when we were talking with June Warwick, So I am going to return you to that point in the video. Hey, June.
I saw you working in the pump shed over there. Are you with the Addon cats?
Meow.
Oh, I'll take that as a yes. So is that pump all fixed up now?
Sure is.
Yep, should be all fixed.
You guys are great. Thank you so much. Maybe someday this will do the farm some good. The Addon cats have been such a great help to us. You must be hungry. Here, take some food back with you. And please, send Zeke my thanks.
Will do, Daddy-O. Rowdy, I'm back. I did what you said to do. I have Mireless kegs. So, sorry to say that I am having to break away from the video because for the first time ever, my channel got a copyright claim. Apparently 21 seconds of Big Maybell's Whole Lot of Shaking Going On was too audible in the last third of my hour-plus long video that is going to probably get less than 100 views. I tell ya. So I had to pull the video down, re-edit the thing, add this section back in, and re-render the video and re-upload. We're talking multiple hours of effort on my part in order to prevent 21 seconds of a song that is 60 years old, or give or take, from being heard in my video. Now, I am all for copyright owners having the rights to their products, but this struck me as just a little ridiculous. Nevertheless, we're going to adapt and overcome, and I return you to the video in progress.
Seriously, who builds a farm at a sewage treatment plant?
That place was
Well,
a
they
real
seem to
dump,
think it
huh?
works good.
Thanks for taking care of our business there.
June sends her thanks.
Thank you.
That June is a doll, and her Mireless cakes are the most far-out thing I have ever tasted.
Just so you know, I will be checking your work. The cats won't take credit for shoddy craftsmanship.
So she had the skills to spiff up the Warwick pump. Should we wrestle her jimmies with something else? Here we go!
Zeke.
Gunners! Those wet rags keep trying to get their mitts on our suits. It's you, Jack? You slayed! Because of you, we didn't lose a single
My name's
cat.
Mary, actually. It's not Jack. Wow. So nobody's gonna... I guess cool people don't look at explosions, right?
It was no
No
big
big
deal.
deal.
No. You are out of sight, and a friend of the cats in my book. You have full reign of our digs. And, you know, I can get you hooked up with a little discount around here, yeah? Finally, the holy grail for anyone who knows what's cool in the Commonwealth. Your very own Addon Cat's jacket. Wear it well, Jack.
Nice. Let's take a look at this jacket and jeans. How do they stack up compared to a shielded vault suit? Not very well. And charisma 4. I wonder what this unarmed 4 actually means. I mean, does that mean that essentially 4 ranks of the unarmed perk? Don't know. I have to take a look at it on the wiki and see what that says.
And then there's
Meanwhile,
the newest Addon cat, Roxy. Got it all memorized, Jack?
I keep telling you folks, my name is Mary, not Jack. Anyway, we have access to a power armor vendor. And I suppose I could have come and done this some time ago, but it just never occurred to me I wasn't really in need of power armor. I mean, after all, when you wear power armor, you give up all the legendary effects of your regular armor. But we have a trip into the glowing sea to make, and that means that we have some bartering to do. But that is going to have to wait for next episode, because this one is starting to run a little long. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please do leave a like. It actually does help the channel. And if you want to see more, you're going to have to subscribe. We've got Starfield coming, but we're going to finish this run, come heck or high water. And if you didn't like, please tell me why in a comment, so I can do better for you next time. A dislike without context means that I don't know what I should be fixing for you for the next time. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nacho Bidness. I'm saying it's a great big wasteland out there. Let's go have fun in it.